All right, how are we? Yeah, I figured, Robin. I'm going to run a speed test. Just to see what we got. They were talking about cutting our power, but that wasn't until next week. They're doing repairs in my area. So let's hope that doesn't mean that this is utter trash. Just a second while I run this, guys. I need a dark pink for that nose. I think I'm going to probably use heraldic red and a darker skin color, peachier skin color. Yeah, no, it's good. That was just a big hiccup, guys. My upload is actually fantastic. It's 40. So everything should be good. We just had a huge hiccup there. No, I don't want to whack the router with a stick because, like I said, we've got 40 upload right now. That was just a weird isolated hiccup. Otherwise, the router is performing excellently. All right, so we're gonna block in the ears here. Not all. Most kitty cats do have the lighter fur in the ears. Usually you also see pink back there, but a lot of the time with like animals, sculptors will just sculpt in the fur. They won't leave any skin showing just because it's easier to just sculpt in the fur and not leave like a hollow, especially because the ears, if the ears are freestanding, you want them to be solid enough to cast. So although some of these kitties, you can see the pink back in the ear, this kitty we're going to be going with the long white fur in the ears. So we're going to be going for that. Let's see here. How about paws? A lot of ginger cats have lighter paws. Some have white paws. Some don't. I don't know. I think I want the orange down here, though. Just a little hint of it, just to pull the eye around the figure here. So I don't think I'm going to do anything except highlight those little toesies. And I think I'm going to mix a 50-50 of these two colors, my mid-tone and my highlight, to get a paler orange to do that initial highlight with. I'm actually going to mix in a little bit of my shadow, though. I want to get it a little more burnt orange, a little more muted. There, that's better. I also need to put some highlights at the throat here. I want it to be a little lighter on the when it gets down toward the chest. And I want this color. So I'm just going to touch the toes a little bit down here. I want to make them a little lighter where they stick out. I'm going to bring in the shadow to make them a little darker between the toes. I haven't lined them or anything. So I'll use my rusted anchor for that, but I want to get my little highlights on the little toesies first. Just to remind everybody, I will be streaming on my own channel tomorrow at twitch.tv/paintingbig, working on my Adepticon model, competition model. I will be probably doing leather on that, doing the leather tomorrow. I'll spare you guys sitting there endlessly working on the fur. And then another reminder, a reminder for Quindy also, is next week is Adepticon, and David and I are leaving on, I believe, Wednesday. I may not be able to stream. Our flight might leave later. I'll text you. I'll message you on Discord, Quindy. I think I laid that out already in my initial email to everybody about my days that are coming up, because I've got that and then I've got the Canada trip. But I'll just double check and make sure. I don't remember if I have time to do the stream on Wednesday morning or not. Since we lose a lot of time flying out there, and so I know roughly when we land, but I don't know when we actually leave because it's such a long flight from out here on the west. Yeah, I'll touch base with you. But yeah, so I may be out Thursday. I will definitely be out, maybe out Wednesday. I will definitely be out next week, Thursday and Friday, folks. And then I'll be back for a few days, and then I'm leaving to go play with puppies. Y'all are just going to have to deal. Because puppies. So I'm going to take my highlight color, and I'm going to make just a little highlight on the very tip above the claw. Keeping a lot of the orange, but just using this to bring out details. When you do this kind of little spot of lighter color, you're almost doing reverse lining. You are bringing it up light, like next to the claws, so that I've got the claws already like darked in with the liner. So then when I come in with a light bone color to do the claws, it'll all work together and the claws will show up and the toes will show up and you'll still see that line defining them. That said, I did kind of screw that up a little. I got a little bit too much orange on one of my claws, so I'm going to clean that up. Yeah, we are really just going to compete, hang out with miniatures friends, and see the models for Golden Demon. I mean, David is entering Golden Demon, obviously, so I'm going to cheer him along and hope that with all of the amazing models there are bound to be this year, that he can pull at least one, if not a few, Golden Demons. It'll be hard. It's going to be a hard competition. Because it's been not in the USA for so long, all of the big projects that everybody's been working on all these years technically qualify, so it should be a very, very high-end competition. Possibly even more high-end than the last Crystal Brush, depending. I don't know how many Europeans are coming. I haven't looked at the class schedule to see who's teaching, like who managed to make it over with all the COVID crazy. But if even a few of the European crowd also made it over, then we could have a real like amazing painting competition. Crazy good. Which I love to see. It's inspiring. I always come back from those like all excited to work on something cool. I don't expect my own model to do all that like amazing in the privateer competition, but because he is pretty simple. But it'd still be nice to enter, so he will get done. I did find a nice little plinth for him last night. Although David says the plinth is too good for him. Well, with demons, just like with Crystal Brush, although it's not really publicized, but with demons, there's also generally a first cut. Although you can't, unless you pay attention, you won't see if your model is pulled for it. So the thing you always want is at least to make first cut. Like that's kind of what you should aim for, especially with top 3 competitions, like Golden Demon, where only the top 3 models are going to get awards. It's nice to watch when they're judging. They'll generally pull out of the case the models that they consider worthy of consideration. And so if your model gets pulled, that's already time for a thumbs up. That's really, when I was competing at GD, that was always what I just aimed for. If my model got grabbed for a first cut, then I know they were taking a serious look at it. So for me, that was good enough. But yeah, this year it's just going to be so much. There's going to be so many amazing models. And it is a hard call, a hard time judging like that. You know, when you have only a top 3, when you have to narrow it to a top 3, like when we do the Sophies, it's just as hard. And that's like, they're going to have a lot more entries probably than we even have for the Sophies, top level entries, this year anyway. because everybody's like been holding on to their entries. People started painting for this competition and then COVID happened, so they've had an extra 2 years to paint for this competition. But yeah, I have an entry for Golden Demon that I've planned, but I just didn't feel it. I was not feeling the love this year on him. So have to see if after the competition I feel like it's because he needs conversion work, and I just was not in the mood to do the sculpting on him. So maybe I'll get in the mood to at least finish the conversion work on him after I go to the con. He's an Age of Sigmar. One of the guys who came out in the original box set. Like, what is it? Stormcast? Yeah, Stormcast. He's a Stormcast. He's cobbled together after over 3 different kits out of 3 different kits.